We be different.
Um, this whole DEI thing, and I've heard a lot of, and I try not to call people idiots these days. I've been doing a pretty good job.
But if you're honest, there are a bunch of idiots. So
I
feel like if you tell somebody they're an idiot, that's the fastest way to get them out of being an idiot.
Well, here's the thing. The reason I don't
I understand name calling, but I'm just saying.
No, it ain't even name calling because I'm not opposed to name calling. I try to be fruitful with my words and try to be constructive as I possibly can. However, when I say the word idiot, I link the word idiot to fool. So I don't like to use that word or call people fools. So I try to refrain from calling people idiots. And I haven't called anyone a dumbass online in like 3 years. So that's really good for me because the old me, man. All of this stuff happening, especially during the Trump years, man, I did not hold back on how I felt. And I still really don't hold back on how I feel. I just do it with a little bit more love and grace. Even if certain people don't think that I do it with love and grace, I really do. Because I try to tell the truth. But this whole DEI thing, man, is blowing up. And we're getting a lot of false information online about all of these DEI initiatives being canceled, right? So we just recently got some memes that went out saying that Black History Month, Juneteenth, MLK Day, Gay Pride Month, which to me can go away if you ask me. I mean, a Black History Month can go away too. However, that's my opinion. Yeah, whole nother topic, whole nother day. We'll get on that at some point. Yeah. But the point is people were afraid that Donald Trump has come in and immediately killed all of the DEI initiatives as if he had something against black people. Why is he getting rid of Black History Month? You hear people saying this kind of stuff because they don't do even a little bit of research, man. It don't take much to get on the White House website and get the information straight from the source. Mm-hmm. However, they'll go over here to ABC News, MSNBC, whatever the case, CNN especially, and get a misleading headline and run with it, right? Because these people know what they're doing. They know people ain't gonna do no critical thinking or research. So they put a headline out there to make people think. Unfortunately, they're thinking the wrong things. So we know that Trump has not come in and cancel Black History Month or Juneteenth or MLK Day. Heck, he just had an MLK Day, on the 20th, on his inauguration day. What is it that you think these DEI false claims, how dangerous are the false claims of exactly what DEI is, what's being called, what's being rolled back? Explain from your perspective exactly what we're getting rid of.
Mm-hmm. So first and foremost, DEI is inherently racist. Okay, to say that you are going to make hires in any industry, especially vital industries, right? Like the medical industry, right, or aviation industry, right, XYZ, right? Those types of things. To say that you are going to have a quota for a certain level of diversity or equity or inclusion,
yeah,
that is not the type of stuff that has made America great.
It isn't.
Right? So we talk about Martin Luther King, right? We want to honor his legacy, this, that, and the third.
Right.
One of the main things that he talked about, one of the main things that we at least remember, because I won't say the main thing he talked about, but one of the main things that we remember is judge me not by the color of my skin, but by the content of my character. Right?
Right.
So this can easily translate into any workforce and judge me by the quality of my work,
mm-hmm,
not the color of my skin.
Right.
Right. Not by the amount that my race has been involved in certain things, right? Mm-hmm. Because, for instance, black folks, we know we just ain't gonna do certain jobs, right? There's certain things that we're not gonna do. We're not gonna be.
Hey man, work is work.
Well, work is work. But like, I'm being real. We're not gonna be skydiving instructors, right?
Yeah.
We're not gonna be, like for instance, I'm a roofer. It's very rare that you see another black roofer. You see what I'm saying? Right. We don't really do heights like that. That's not a problem.
Right.
But
we don't do heights. We don't do water.
But right. So the left makes the same argument though. Whenever we're talking about immigration, they say, well, which is really, really racist.
Yeah.
If you want to break it down.
They're doing the jobs that.
Well, who's gonna come cut the grass? Who's gonna do the landscape? Right. Oh, so now there's certain jobs that certain people want, certain jobs that other people want.
Racially.
Right.
Yeah.
The whole point here is if you are chasing after a quota rather than quality, then you automatically lose the quality. Right.
You don't even give the quality a chance.
You don't give the quality a chance.
Right.
You actually push them to the back of the line to ensure that minorities get to the front of the line, regardless of the quality that they do the work,
based solely on the color of their skin. Right. And see, it's not even
flip on what MLK said.
It's not even just minorities though. It's minorities. It's your sexual preference, your level of health, whether that be physical or mental health. Your gender.
Yeah.
Right. So is what it is people looking at a pool of available workers, the workforce, and saying, okay, America looks like this. If we look at America as far as its makeup, whether we're talking about gender, sexual orientation, which should not be a thing, but I digress. Sexual orientation, race, also level of income, right? So if we look at America like that, and then these people have looked at this map and said, okay, we have 30% of this, 20% of this, 15% of this, 30% of this. We need to make all of the workforces percentage wise look like America looks.
Yeah.
Right. But that's dangerous because just like you just said, every industry ain't for everybody. Right? That's how we get men playing in women's sports and things of that nature. DEI initiatives. That's how you get people that are unqualified to do certain jobs, doing certain jobs just because they're filling a quota. This is not making America great.
Not to cut you off, but it actually goes a little bit further. In a lot of situations with DEI, certain minority populations are overrepresented in certain things because the argument is historically we have not been able to hold these positions. So let's try to backtrack for all of the history that has been lost for this position, for this minority, and backfill it. Well, then that creates a problem, right? Because now you have an imbalance in the opposite way, which is why I say whenever you are thinking about hiring solely based on race, ethnicity, intellectual, I don't even say, I'd rather you hire on intellectual capability and go for the higher bar. But disabilities, things like that, and you have somebody that is overrepresented. Now, like I say, the first thing that gets hurt is the quality of the work. Yeah. Now you have problems like what you have with the aviation issue now. So it's all a bunch of foolishness. And what I don't think people realize,
and it's an insult, like you said earlier.
Right, it's an insult.
Should be an insult to you.
It is. And what I don't think people realize is this is a really communist way of approaching.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
And what I mean by that is it's not trying to give equal opportunity to everybody in the country. It's trying to give equal, if not overrepresented outcomes to certain people, certain demographics in the country. And that is what you call communism, right? Leveling the playing field at the outcome.
Let me ask you something. I know maybe you realize this, but a lot of people don't. Do people realize that, and I'm talking to Christians right here, do people realize that when we get to heaven, that there will not be DEI, there will not be equality, that there will be a hierarchy, there will be levels, and likewise, those who are going to hell, there will not be DEI in hell. There will be levels of punishment. There will be a hierarchy even in hell. God has set everything up to be orderly, right? Order is the way of the land. So if everybody is equal, because we already know that everybody does not have the same abilities. Everybody is not on the same level intellectually. Everybody obviously isn't on the same level common sense wise. So you cannot say that the playing field needs to be level, because you're not going to get the best out of everyone that you need to get out of them.
Right.
And it should be an insult for someone to tell you that we're going to hire you, or we're going to lower the standards so that you have an easier method of getting into this particular field or institution or whatever.
We've already seen that fail tremendously at the college level.
We have.
For example, what is the initiative of enrolling more black students? There's a name for it, a term for it. I'll remember it here in a second. But basically what we've found is that as you start to focus more on DEI-centered things, especially when it comes to certain institutions, you actually put a student that is in a league that they're not in, right?
Right.
And then they are more likely to fail. If you don't believe me, fact check me. Research it for 2 minutes and see what happens if you do not put a well-qualified student amongst very well-qualified students.
Right.
Now, all of a sudden, you have a pace that they cannot keep up with.
Mm-hmm.
And if they can't keep up with it, guess what happens? They fall behind, they drop out, and now...
And what did they, hold on. And then what do? They scream what?
Racism?
There you go. Because, my professor wasn't fair to me. He gave the white person a better score than I did, and I did just as good as the white person did. So, first of all, we got to get out of this mindset in America in 2025, because this is an absolute lie in 2025, that you being black have to work twice as hard to get half as much as the white person next to you. This is a lie. This is a foolish way to think, and you're basically setting yourself up for failure. If this is what you're teaching your children, first of all, God forbid you're teaching your children this, but I know many of y'all are. You're teaching your children to have a chip on their shoulder before they actually get into the world and get into the workforce where everything is already competitive. And you're setting them backwards. Let them know that they can do whatever it is that they want to do. Mm-hmm. No matter what their skin color is, as long as you work hard and stay dedicated to whatever it is that you want to do, you can get whatever you want in this country, in this life. There's nothing holding you back. And you can't tell me that it is, because we just had a president that was black for 2 terms. Mm-hmm. And let's just be honest, had white people not voted for him, he wouldn't have been president.
Facts. Yeah, facts. Just some people still live with this notion that, we live in a racist country.
Right.
And it's easy to find that quite ridiculous when we've been led by a black man.
Right.
So I just look at that as foolishness. But at the same time, I try to understand where people are coming from. Mm-hmm. A lot of people come from different backgrounds.
Right.
Have different experiences, things like that.
Right.
But for those people in particular, I encourage you to be a little bit more open-minded. Do your research. Look exactly at what the numbers are, what they aren't,
right,
what exactly is happening, how much opportunity you really do have, and then take advantage of that opportunity. Mm-hmm. Right? There have been plenty of people that have taken advantage of the opportunity, beat the odds,
right,
and did numbers.
Right.
But then you also have people that, quote unquote, become a statistic and whatever. I digress. But the point is we live in the greatest country in the world. Mm-hmm. And in that country, you have the ability, no matter what race, gender, shape, size, creed, color, whatever the case is, you have an opportunity to do literally whatever it is that you want.
Right.
We've had Black people, we've had Hispanics, we've had white people fill up basically every position in America that there is to fill. Right.
Every single one.
So with that being said, why worry about, what else somebody is trying to do to me to thwart my attempt at becoming something great or doing something great with my life? I think that is very counterproductive. And the more counterproductive you are, obviously, the less productive.
Well, BJ, is my humble opinion that it is indeed Stockholm Syndrome. Black folks in America are in love with their oppressor. They're in love with oppression, being oppressed. Because when you've had something to complain about for so many years, and all of a sudden, and it's really not all of a sudden, this has been a gradual process to get us to where we are now. We're at a point now where, again, like I said, you can do whatever you want, and it's not catching on. People are not grasping that thought just yet. Many Black men, I will say, are starting to get it and are starting to come to the side of common sense. However, we have many stragglers, right? Still. The Black woman is going to be last when it comes to this. I'm sorry to say, and I'm not sorry to say it. I'm just going to tell the truth, right? Because the truth is what it is, and sometimes people need to hear the hardcore truth. Black women are going to be last when it comes to this because they are still so emotional and still holding on to that oppression that they are in love with in this country. There's nothing that's holding us back.